Namaste, beautiful soul. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Jakara, and you're watching the Blooming Lotus Healing. And I am so excited to be sharing a little bit about my SRT experiences. So, I wanted to talk about my first experience actually getting a clearing. So, as a practitioner, which a lot of people, when they become practitioners, they first typically get a clearing a couple of times, and then eventually they get that calling to practice SRT. I know for a fact that my highest self has indicated that this is my path, this is my soul path. I am meant to be doing the work of clearing and helping for the highest good of humanity. So super excited to be sharing my experience with SRT. So spiritual response technique, or formerly known as spiritual response therapy, is a technique that utilizes a pendulum and charts that helps navigate your Akashic records with integrity and research the Akashic records to find out any discordant energies or negative energies that are being carried at the soul level, right? So my first experience with SRT, I did not know what to expect. It was my first time. I never really been in a situation where I did SRT. It just happened to, the stars happened to align, and I happened to connect with somebody who was practicing it, and I was super excited. And so the way it worked is, we did it over Zoom, and so she opened my records and she started researching. The interesting thing about that experience, that first experience, was that I could feel the heavy energies being lifted out of my head. It was just so interesting. Like I could feel it being lifted out of my body and out into the ether. Like it was being alchemized or received by my highest self. And so that was really beautiful, because that allowed me to really feel, because at the time I was feeling a lot of anxiety. I was going through a lot of fear and anxiety and different things that were really heavy. And I immediately felt that sense of connection, and I was also being able to connect to my guides right away. Like the next day in my meditation in the morning, I was able to really connect to my guides right away, which I was having a hard time doing that because I was being so bogged down with anxiety and fear and all these different negative thoughts, and it just repeating pattern of thoughts. And so that really helped bring everything back into balance for me. So one thing that I learned after that is that when it comes down to healing, we do work in layers, in onion layers. And what happens is that sometimes, especially if we've been incarnated many times, or we're in different lifetimes, incarnated in different lifetimes at the same time, we may need to do a clearing, and then we settle, right? And integrate that clearing, and then from there we may have other programs that come up when they're ready to come up. So the beautiful thing about that is that you know, because you feel the energy afterwards, and you feel that sense of clarity and that sense of just peace. And then suddenly when the programs get triggered, you can tell, because we're operating from that emotional, from the heart space. So when we operate from the heart space, as being a heart-based planet that we we operate from emotions, and our emotions are flagposts or tools to let us know that something is up. So at that point, I knew it was time for me to do another clearing. So I booked another session, and that after that second session, it was quite interesting, because right away I was called upon to take the class, to take SRT, to learn SRT as a healing modality for me to share. At the time, I was learning numerology, and I was learning Reiki, and I was really interested in sharing my light. I knew I had a calling, but I knew that there was something. So it was quite interesting, because the practitioner that I worked with, she found certain things that were keeping me from stepping into my light, from stepping into my purpose. So, and this was something that my highest self gave her for her to clear, because my highest self was in charge. So she's just connecting to, we were just connecting to our highest selves, and then our highest selves connect to your highest selves, and your highest selves is the one, your soul is the one in charge of exercising the clearing for you. So it was quite interesting, because a couple of things that came up around being able to hold space for others and be a healer came up. So that was cleared. And right after that, I got a message from another friend, who showed me this beautiful healer off of in California, and she teaches SRT, and she happens to be opening a class, a basic class. And after that, I knew that this was my path. And so that's been my experience with SRT. Is it's been it was a process, right? I first got cleared, and then after I got cleared and I got cleared on my path, then I was able to embrace SRT as part of my journey, right? And as I continue in this journey of healing, I continue to clear myself every day. I clear my family. I clear, of course, my clients who I'm so grateful for, my clients who come in, and I love seeing my clients just going through that transformation and going through that sense of empowerment and knowing that they are love and they are connected to spirit and they're able to move forward in their path and in their lives. And so it's really beautiful. The one thing that I would recommend to you if you are considering doing an SRT session is to make sure that you set up a specific line of healing. And what do I mean by that is the Akashic records are huge, right? And we don't just open the records just for whatever reason. So you want to have a line of communication with spirit. So if there's a specific thing that you're going through, for example, you're having an issue with a relationship, so that's going to be your line of communication. That's the intention, right? So you set that intention, and that allows us to really go in deep into the session and be able to your highest self and my highest self will be able to go deep into what are the root causes of those issues, and then go in there and clear them, so that way you don't have to deal with that anymore. So that's the one thing that I would say that I would recommend, is to make sure that you are setting an intention, and also to come in with an open heart, with an open mind, to hear all the different things that are going to come up, especially when it comes down to parallel lives and parallel universes and different dimensions. Sometimes it's kind of hard to wrap our head around that, but really come in with that open heart to really receive the healing that you're going to receive. And the last thing that I would recommend as well, when you get a SRT session, it would be to make sure that you drink a lot of water, and that you create space for yourself to get the integration of that healing. So meditating, journaling, giving yourself the space to be in a non-stressful environment for a couple of days, just so that way you can really integrate and allow the energies to really settle and really feel into your energies, because you will feel a shift. And one last thing that I would say as well is make sure that you come in with no expectations. If you come in with no expectations, you will be open to receive, right? Everything that is meant to be received at the moment. And know that sometimes you may or may not feel physical changes at the time as the healing is being done. So come prepared with an open mind and open to receive, and your session will be just beautiful and fantastic. Thank you so much for tuning in, and namaste.